invite you to start.
My other glasses. 15 seconds.
Today. Coming up next, Webster.
Two or 3 points haunt me on the Olson case. It's taken for granted that this shocker of a creature will be killed in prison by some other lifer at some time, and that other lifer will probably be doing life for his own particularly brutal killing. And horrible though it is to say, 99% of the people in Canada will jump for joy and shout, "Thank God, justice has at last been done." And that, of course, and I'm guilty of it too, is cynical hypocrisy by those against the death penalty. But I cannot, in the greatest sincerity, since the Olson case, argue against capital punishment for premeditated murder of at least 12 innocent youngsters. Olson was not insane. He conned his captors into that unmentionable $90,000 blood money to his wife. And don't dare tell me that capital punishment might not have been a deterrent. Olson deterred his young victims from running for their life by fear of death or actual death. The RCMP, there's no doubt about it, made mistakes. And I have this hunch, and I put it to the Attorney General, and I can't get away from it, that Olson's long-time status as a Crown informer and witness in Marcoux child killing might somehow have given him an edge against detection because he was a known informer who took money. But I resent most strongly these Johnny-come-latelys in print who suddenly are experts on our slow-moving, overloaded, sometimes inefficient, ineffective system of justice. There's no doubt the system fails too often. Talking about the whole system, from the bottom to parole and mandatory supervision. Too many paroles, too many cop-outs, too much plea bargaining, bail too easy too often, charges dropped when perhaps they shouldn't have been. When you look at Olson's previous record of 90-odd convictions centering around, it would seem, this particular kind of activity. But Olson, we mustn't forget, had killed 4 children in 1 week at a time when he had to be a prime suspect. But even when the police had 4 bodies, without his help, they had one tiny scrap of evidence, one name in a notebook. And even when they made the deal, they had no confessions, but they did turn up 6 bodies, $10,000 a time COD, on verification of the COD before you go on to the next one. And that gave the Crown potential evidence from the graves to use in a trial. Now, one syndicated columnist who probably hasn't been in court as a reporter in his life and is best known for his appearances in libel suits has the gall to suggest that people like myself were toadying to the Attorney General because we had the sense of responsibility and the decency to keep our mouths shut till the right time. Nothing in God's earth would have caused me to help Olson get off by publishing evidence before the trial, apart altogether from the obvious fact that anybody who publishes evidence before a trial and interferes with the administration of justice is properly in contempt of court. But let me tell you this, just as a kind of an aside. When the effect of our new Charter of Rights appears, we're liable to be faced with the US-style system of justice. And that is, and we can see it already in one recent decision, the policeman erred, let the murderer go free. Attorney General Williams was certainly an artful dodger when he slithered away first time round from admitting the blood money purely on semantics. He wasn't asked the right question. But at least in this case, the net effect has been achieved. Olson, hopefully, is away forever and a day. And that's for the politicians to make sure. But I get really upset when I see a copyright story in a local paper in which, on some second-hand interview, Olson is allowed to taunt the RCMP, who, regardless of any mistakes they might have made, certainly did their best. And Olson is quoted as saying, in effect, they only solved the killings because I was paid to help them. And Olson doubtless snickered when he passed this on to this copyrighted story. A man like Olson has surely to goodness lost all right in any decent society to be seen and heard and quoted as any kind of authority on the foul deaths of the children he so cold-bloodedly slaughtered. And, you know, we're crazy. In the same story in the province paper, it says he's going to continue his psychiatric treatment and has 3 doctors available, if you like. There are scores of teenagers in this province who are emotionally, mentally ill, delinquent, who have not been getting psychiatric treatment because the doctors haven't been available for them. Rather, one child getting the proper treatment than 1,000 Olsons. However, to finish, it seems to me that we must know more details, and it seems to me totally improper that Olson had 2 lawyers paid for by legal aid, when it must have been known that $90,000 was going to be available, in fact, through his wife, like it or lump it, directly or indirectly for his benefit. What the public must see is the full legal agreement signed between the RCMPE division, and I'm confident, but I don't know, that Kaplan's lawyers from the Justice Department were involved too, as well as the unnamed lawyer from Mrs. Olson. Let's see that agreement. And I suppose I can finish with one positive suggestion. At least one of the victims' mothers has been on welfare. I seriously recommend that a similar sum of $90,000 be made available and be drawn on by any of the families who have been destroyed by Olson if and when they are in need. That commitment by the government, both federal and provincial, would perhaps help to satisfy our conscience on the payment of the blood money for the bodies of the little children. I'll be back after the break. This is the start of a 2-part series, today and tomorrow, about children in trouble. Not just in trouble with the law, but children who are severely emotionally disturbed or mentally ill. And I take you first today to the juvenile jail. That's the blunt name for the Youth Detention Centre in Willingdon and Burnaby. Used to be the old Girls Industrial School. Used to be much bigger. Now carries 64 kids, 64 youngsters, more or less at all times. Some go in and out like revolving doors. You'll hear about their problems and several other aspects of this as I go into the Y.D.C. Well, here I am in the Youth Detention Centre in Burnaby, just off Willingdon. And here is Gordon Hogg, the man I want to meet.
Hi.
Mr. Hogg, you're the director of the Y.D.C.
Yes, I am.
Now, it must be 15 or more years since I was in the Y.D.C. And the last time I was here, it was a much bigger establishment, it seemed to me, and was absolutely jammed with hundreds of kids. What's been the change over these years?
Well, I think in 1969, there were 769 children, boys and girls, who were sentenced to secure custody in this province. And that was at this place when it was the Willingdon School for Girls and had a capacity of about 91, and also at Brown and Lake for boys. And then since that time, we've deinstitutionalized substantially, and this place now has a capacity of 61 boys, and there are only 120 kids that have been sentenced to secure and semi-secure custody.
So the big change came in the early 70s, didn't it?
That's right.
And in the early 70s, the emphasis was taken off containment, right?
That's right.
And so therefore there are such a few number. What would your average population be in the Y.D.C. now?
About 64.5 a day we average, with a capacity of, our ability to hold is 61, but we range from about 41 up to 91, so at times we're very
a dozen girls and the balance boys.
That's right.
Now, who do you have in here? Do you have pre-sentence people, remand people, post-sentence people?
We have both, sentenced and remand. So there's some that have not yet appeared in court, and some who have appeared in court and have been set over while their court proceedings are being continued, and we're holding them to return to court, and some who have been sentenced for a
Now,
short time.
is this a place where a child can get the full range of treatment, say, for severe psychological impairment, as you people say?
We're not a treatment center. We're
They were as quiet as mice before. They're putting on a little act for us just now, aren't
They're
they?
enjoying it.
That's it, they can hear. Now, I want to get that quite clear, though. So these 64 average youngsters you have in here on an average are all here for committing some kind of delinquency.
That's right. They've all been sentenced by the courts.
What would the youngest be in here?
We've had them down to 9, age 9. I think the youngest we have right now is 11, and we've very few that, well, the average age is about...
Up to what age?
The juvenile court maintains jurisdiction up till age 21. So we have one boy now who is sentenced till his 21st birthday.
So therefore, if he's committed the offence or the accusation was made prior to his 17th birthday, you can actually hold him, treat him, and contain him, if necessary, to 21.
That's right. Treat is a dangerous word, but we certainly hold them. And
What do you mean treat's a dangerous word?
well, I think all of the places that have placed expectations upon treatment there've been some difficulty in terms of living up to those expectations. And when we set up the containment program, clearly we said that our primary objective was holding on to the kids and making all of the age-appropriate things available to them. They're psychological, they're psychiatric. So we try to normalize this environment as much as possible, given the institutional constraints.
This is a jail.
That's right.
But you don't call it such.
That's right.
You call it a containment facility.
Containment center.
Now, we've only got 120 kids in all kinds of containment as such in BC.
That's right.
There used to be, what, 700, 900? I can remember figures, I'm sure, of 1,000 or more.
760 and 69 were...
Does that mean the behavior of the population of that age is better, or just a different way of fooling ourselves?
I think that we're now locking up the kids that should more appropriately be locked up. We were locking up many kids at that time for truancy, for not running away, for not getting along with their parents, for all kinds of behaviors that we're now seeing as being able to treat within the community.
But correct me if I'm being too brutal, but your principal objective is to contain them and give them what industrial schooling you can.
That's right. Provide all of the normal things that would be available for them within the community. We're not saying that they're coming here because they're specialized or different, but because they've committed an offense.
Now, how many of them should not be in a place like this, should be being treated in a place like the William Roper Hull in Alberta?
About 10%.
So of the 64 average, or 61 average, 64, 6 or 7 are really severely disturbed cases that shouldn't be here at all.
Severely psychologically disturbed. Legally, there's the mandate for them to be here, obviously. They've come through the court system. However, we can't best meet their needs, that 10%.
This is the same accommodation I saw, but much smaller, 15, 16 years ago. Staff?
Just over 100 staff.
For 60, because you run round the clock.
24 hours a day.
Runaways?
Yes, we have runaways, averaging somewhere around 1 to 2 a month probably, but they would be low-risk kids.
But you were telling me you are going to expand into one of the old cottages, which is now outside the...
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it has a capacity of 20, and in fact, in terms of expansion, everywhere that we've looked in North America and throughout Europe where they've expanded, they've always been filled to capacity. So we have a real concern about expanding and then always having our walls being pushed. We'd rather keep it at a smaller number and hopefully have the most appropriate ones, the ones that should be
All right.
confined.
Okay, treatment in here. To use the word treatment, which you always put in quotes. Treatment is schooling.
That's right.
Treatment is industrial workshop.
That's right.
Treatment is concentrated psychiatric help. No.
Well, it's not for so much here. If a child is identified as requiring ongoing psychiatric or psychological help, we will bring the psychiatrist in to work with that one specifically as identified by the community, much as if the child were living in his own home in the community and would be going to see a psychiatrist. And we have kids that will go out in the community to see a psychiatrist.
These youngsters you're having now, are they kind of hardcore repeaters always that come back and back the same lot?
The ones that are sentenced have averaged about between 15 and 16 previous convictions in court.
What are we not doing that we should be doing?
In this institution? Well, we should be better addressing all of the age-appropriate behaviors. We should be better addressing the, quotes, normalization process. And we should certainly, crucially, be dealing with the overcrowding and the kids, the 1 in 10 who shouldn't be here, who should be having psychiatric.
You have overcrowding now?
Yes, we do.
Is it all right for us to take a look around?
Sure.
Talk to some of the youngsters? But no faces?
No faces, that's
No
right.
faces, no
Maintain
faces.
them. Anonymity.
Anonymity, yeah. Even though somebody might recognize them, we will. You go first.
It's going to be started.
Okay, here we go. We're going. Which unit are we in now?
This is Unit 1.
Unit 1.
Has a capacity of 16 kids, and I think has 23 now? 24. So we're overcrowded.
What's your first name?
Joe,
Pleased to meet you, Joe. How old are you?
14.
Joe, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist or anything, but just tell me, what you in for?
Beanie.
Did you get a sentence or are you waiting sentence?
I'm on remand.
Remand. So you haven't been sentenced yet?
No.
Have you been in before?
Yeah, a few times.
How often?
Oh, a couple times during this year, but last year, in and out all the time.
What do you do that makes them throw you in here and charge you with being a delinquent? Terrible word. What do you do? What have you done in the past?
Beanies, car theft mainly, a few shoplifting, stealing lots of things. That's about it.
I don't want any details. Have you got a family that lives around here?
No.
No. You're from somewhere else in the province?
I was born in Williams Lake, but I don't have a family anymore. Like, I don't know where they live.
Yeah, you just lost touch with them.
Yeah.
Was it your fault or their fault?
I think it was my mom's fault, my dad's.
Oh, well. Do you regard yourself as emotionally disturbed?
No.
No? How far did you get in school?
I don't know, like, I was in alternate schools a lot, and and they-
alternates.
alternate schools, and they let you work at your own, like,
So you didn't work at all?
yeah, I worked some, but not as much as everybody else, you know.
Okay, were you in that place in Calgary?
Yeah, William Upper Hall home, yeah.
Well, that must have done you a lot of good.
Why?
Well, did it?
Well, yeah, because I was there for a year, right, and, like, I've AWOL'd before, and I'd come here with these 5 or 6 charges, right, and this time I only got 3, you know, like, I didn't really feel the need to do any charges,
Are
like,
you going to beat the circle of events and get out and be square and straight?
I hope so.
Are you going to try?
Oh, yeah, I guess, I hope.
How's he doing, Mr. Hogg? How's he doing?
Well, Joe had a bit of a setback about a month ago, but I think he's been doing reasonably well the last little while.
And he's not on sentence, he's on remand.
He's on remand. It hasn't been sentenced as yet.
Yeah. And you see some hope for the future for him.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Good talking too, Joe.
See you later.
Good. Much obliged. In you go, Gordon. Now, this young fella is so tiny that he was standing up in his folded mattress to see out what was
See out the
happening
window,
in the
yeah.
corridor.
Wasn't tall enough to see out the window.
Do you want to stand up with your back to the camera? Come on and stand up with your back to the camera. How old are you?
12,
How big are you?
4'11",
4'11". And how long have you been in this place?
about 2 weeks.
Is he on remand? I hate to ask a
he's
youngster
on-
what
yes.
he's in for.
Yes, he's on remand.
He's on remand. How do they treat you in here?
Good.
Is the discipline tough?
No.
Not tough.
No.
How's the food?
Good.
And your mother and father live around here somewhere?
No, they live in Vernon.
And how are you getting on here?
Good.
Do you think you'll ever want to come back here again?
Maybe.
What grade are you at in school?
7.
You know, here's a wee boy that seems, on the face of it, to be the perfect young son of a man and a woman. But he's got problems.
Well, he's been involved in some offenses and delinquencies anyway, yes.
Not that bad, surely.
Surely not that
I'm
bad.
basically an old softie. Look after yourself, will you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
And you can see out the window, but you've got to stand on your mattress down here so you can see out the hole in the door. Nice to meet you. Bye. Thanks. I wanted to find out what's going on in the next cell. I'm sure they've got some massive Alsatian police dog in here. Where's the police dog? Don't look round. I can't identify you. Which one of you is the police dog?
Hey, right here, man.
Okay, let's hear it, man. Come on.
Excellent, Jeffrey.
Do it again, Jeffrey. You'll terrify the neighborhood.
Yeah.
How'd you like living with a dog like this?
Okay.
Okay, how old are you?
15.
You sentenced or pre-sentenced?
Nope, I'm remand.
You're on remand?
Yep.
Haven't been in here before?
No, I have been in here before.
What were you in for that time?
B&E's.
Any money in B&E's these days?
Yeah.
Or don't you get nailed every time?
You don't get nailed every time.
Looking forward to graduate to a Carla?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a great life.
Yeah, okay.
Who's crazy?
I ain't never going there.
You ain't never going where?
To Ocala.
I'm going to send you to the, mind your language, I'm going to send you to the SPCA.
Hey,
You know what that is?
yeah, anything's better than this.
Thanks very much, boys. How old are you?
Okay, I'm 15.
15. Treat you well here, though, don't they?
Oh, hey, if it could be worse, it's not all that bad, eh?
Well, tell me what's wrong with the place.
Well, the food's not too bad, but the staff sort of get on your case, you know.
No wonder to think there's an Alsatian loose in the place all the time. Have you had any psychological treatment?
No, I'll be going to that fine-looking place over there.
Well, the Maples.
Yeah.
Do you not do it yourself without them, or do you need their help?
Well, hey, and it's either a month there or 6 months here, so I'll play dumb for a while.
Okay, boy, give me the bark again. Go down in history. Come on. Excellent. Thanks very much, boys.
One of our more talented.
Yes. That really, well, if you can't have a joke with the boys in there, what can you have? Now we're going to see some of the girls, I was believing. Down this way. Well, that was, yeah, that was interesting to say the least, wasn't it?
He's quite a guy.
Cheers.
Kids and staff doing amazingly good.
Now, well, Mr. Hogg, where are we coming now?
Coming into Unit 2,
Unit 2, and this is
Debbie McIsaac.
Debbie.
Hi.
Pleased to meet you. Who's in Unit 2, Debbie?
We have girls on containment and remand.
And this is the girls only ward. How many you got in just now?
Just 5.
Just 5. That's a low population at the moment.
Yes, it is.
Good, although I see the boys were doubled up in some of the other cells, weren't they?
Unit 1, which is a capacity for 16, we have 24 in there right now.
Yeah, it's not, that makes it, must make it real tough for your staff.
Oh, yes, very
Well,
difficult.
2 guys on shift and you might have a bit of a punch-up.
We have 3 in there now.
3 in there now.
Basically, we try to keep about a 5-to-1 ratio, 1 staff member to each of the 5 kids. But in Unit 1, right now it's about 8-to-1.
Not easy. Well, we're going to go down and see one of the girls down here, aren't we?
Yes.
The girl in the corner we saw before. And we'll see. It is containment. It is a jail
That's
with
right.
school treatment.
That's right.
And with now
That's programs. This is Barb.
Bob. Ah, here we come. Hi. Hi. Not using any names, so I'll just say hi. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? You're on the Residents Advisory Committee, right?
Yeah, youth advisory.
How old?
Pardon me?
How old are you?
15.
15. Now, how long have you been in the Y.D.C?
4 months.
4 months. And I hate to ask you, but what were you sent in for?
Armed robberies.
What?
Armed robbery charges.
Armed robbery charges. You
Yeah.
must have been in trouble before, or you wouldn't have come here the first time, would you?
Yeah, I was here a couple times before.
A couple of times before for B&Es?
Yeah.
Now, what education have you got?
Well, I'm supposed to be in grade 10, and I'm doing relatively that, 9 and 10.
So the schooling here, is it useful can you keep up with your schooling while you're in a place like this?
Well, like, you work at your own level. You go as fast as you want and as slow as you want, so it's good. I went to an alternate school before, and I found it just the same.
Just the same, and you'll graduate grade 12?
Well, when I leave here, hopefully I'll have my grade 10.
Well, what would motivate you not to get into trouble again? What's the kind of thing, if you're determined not, are you determined not to get into
Oh,
trouble
yes,
again?
yes.
But why? Why are you not going to get into trouble again?
Well, you don't need it. There's a lot of better things to do with your life than just sit around and rot in here.
Do you regard this Y.D.C as punishment? Is it real punishment to you?
No, not really. It helps you sort out things. You got a lot of time to yourself, so you think about things and it helps you sort it out.
How about the kids themselves? Do you find that what proportion wants to get out for good and what proportion just regards it as a game?
There's a lot of people that will, keep coming back, and you could see it. And like my stay here, there's a lot of girls that kept coming back. But you have to want to straighten out before you can do anything about
If
it.
you were running this place, what would you do to change it? Anything you'd do?
No, I think it's good. I may not agree with it because I don't get my freedom or anything, but it helps people to think about things and...
But right now, can you get out on a pass, a day pass, or a weekend pass?
Yeah, I just came back from a weekend pass.
With no problems at all?
Well, not every weekend, but...
No, but you're home with your family?
Oh, my foster family, yeah.
Home with you're living in a foster home?
Yeah.
Because your own family's gone with a mist somewhere, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, best of luck. What have you learned in here to do you wouldn't have learned outside?
To cooperate with my feelings more and my feelings towards other people.
Really? You're not
Yeah.
just giving me a line of nonsense?
No, that's very true. I was very cold before, and it's helped me to understand other people and their feelings.
Best of luck. When will you get out?
Pardon me?
When will you be out?
I'm supposed to be out in June, but I'll probably be getting out in February, March.
On pre-release?
Yeah.
Good. Thanks very much.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thanks, Mark.
Well, now, thanks again.
Thanks, Mark.
And we're going to go in and see
This is Laurie.
Laurie. I'll go first, because I'm sitting on the other side of Laurie. Laurie, I hear you got charged because you wrote the word locked on the inside of your door.
Yeah,
You knew you were locked in, didn't you?
yeah.
But why did you write it on, just to remind yourself and everybody else?
Boredom.
Are you bored here?
Yeah.
How long have you been in?
October.
October. I hate to ask this question again. Have you been sentenced?
No, I haven't.
You've been into October. October, November, December. 3 months on remand?
Yes.
Is that possible, Gordon?
Yes, that's possible.
They make the appearances in court, or they just come straight here for the 3 months?
No, she would have probably appeared in court 2 or 3 times, at least. And Laurie, how many times have you appeared in court?
3 times.
3 times.
What kind of charges?
1 break and entry, 1 attempted bodily harm, and shoplift charge, and that's about it.
Were you unhappy at home, said he, sounding like a psychiatrist? Did you have troubles at home?
Yes.
You're not the only one in the family.
No.
How many other kids in the family?
4.
What do you think? Is there any point in attempted bodily harm charges or shoplifting?
No.
Are you one of these people whom some guy in a white coat might say is emotionally disturbed?
Yeah.
God, you pretty smile. What grade education have you got?
10.
Grade 10. Quite a good student?
Yes.
Now tell me the truth. Were you a good student or not?
I am now, not before.
Coming in here, did that do you any good? Did that make you a better student?
Yeah, I've got my act together.
So once this is over, you're out for good.
You got it.
What do you want to be when you leave here? And
I plan on working with kids when I get older, either here or social worker or probation officer.
that means university.
You got it.
Well, you got it, though.
Yeah.
And don't tell me, you're from Vancouver somewhere?
North Van.
North Van. Well, I don't know. It must be pretty miserable in here anyway.
The people are out to help us.
You're not just conning me because Gordon Hogg is here.
No.
You really feel
He's
that?
out to help us too.
Really out to help you?
Yeah.
Food is edible.
Oh yeah.
What did you have for lunch today?
Lasagna and spinach and pudding and milk.
Did we get steaks?
Yeah.
Quite well cooked.
You got it.
And who does your hair?
Miss Tyler.
Miss Tyler. How old are you again, 15?
16.
16. Last time in here?
You got it.
You got it. Thanks very much, Laurie. That's great.
Thanks, Laurie.
Amusing and entertaining. Yes, you can turn around now. Turn around now. Turn around, Dick Whittington. How do you pass the time in here, Lisa?
Have a cigarette, watch TV, read a book mostly.
Do you any good?
Reading books, sort of.
School?
Can't go to school.
What do you mean you can't go to school?
Well, I tried to go to school, but they wouldn't let me.
Why wouldn't they let you?
Well, because I'm not here for long enough. I'm just on remand.
So how long you been in here?
Around a week. I was here 10 times before, though.
How many times did you run?
Away from here?
Yeah.
Never. You can't run away from here.
You can't get out of here at all?
No, not unless you're in the kitchen.
Or on a day pass or something?
Yeah.
But you were in 10 times before.
Well, yeah, like, I was a ward in the beginning, and then I started getting in trouble with the law. And then I said, well, what am I doing, you know? I don't want to be in trouble with the law, so I stopped. And then the other day, I was at the bar, and I got caught drinking there, so here I am again.
How old are you?
16.
And you're telling me just because you were in the bar, they slapped you back in here again?
Yep.
Were you on probation?
Yep.
What were your other offenses prior to that?
Well, I had a lot of things, like robbery and assault and 4 car thefts and just dumb things, you know? Stupid kid things.
You said you were a ward. When did you first become, how old were you when you were made a ward of the children's aid? Or not the children's aid, of the court system?
Well, when I was 6, I got kicked out, and I was made a temporary ward for a year then. And then I don't know, I lived with my family and stuff. And then when I was 13 again, they made me a ward. And now I'm a ward till I'm 19.
Well, that's not necessarily bad. All you've got to do is play the game, I suppose, and they can't. But if you go into a bar, they'll pick you up.
Well, yeah, but I was just drinking Spanish coffee. I wasn't drinking.
Coffee and whiskey.
No, coffee and Kahlua. I don't know, it was a crime, I guess. I can understand why I'm in here. But I need to be out here because I want to go back to school in February, but
Now, if you've been in here 10 times up to now, you've had all kinds of, have you had all kinds of psychological testing?
Well, I'm not crazy, but yeah, I've had psychological assessment done.
What do they tell you about yourself?
They tell me that I'm very intelligent, and they ask me why I'm in here.
And okay, you're very intelligent. Why are you in here?
I don't know why I'm in here. I want to be out of here. I want to go to school. I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah, well, the time you had to be a lawyer, my goodness, we have enough lawyers to sink the whole country. Maybe
Yeah,
you
I
could
know.
find something more useful to do with your
Well,
life.
I'm going to be a child advocate one day, you know, because I don't want to see any more kids get messed up like I did, you know.
Well, now, who messed you up? Was it
Me and
was it not
the
your folks that messed you up in the first place?
Well, I don't know. There's sort of a cop-out, but I guess I messed myself up.
You were 6 when you left him.
Yeah,
And
first time.
How many foster homes have you been in since?
42.
How many?
Well, now 43.
43. And a social worker chasing you in and out of these foster homes all your life, you might say.
Well, I don't know. I found one I liked, but they took me away.
Why did you like it? Was it too soft? Was it?
Because they were good people. They cared.
And how old are you now?
16.
Yeah, you seem to know what you're doing. Do you get into rage tempers and do stupid things?
No, I just want to go to school. I don't want to be in trouble with the law.
When are you going to get out of here?
I don't know. I talked to this counselor, Gail, where I live, but she says I'm not getting out for a while because she's not taking me back.
But you're only on remand, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You're not sentenced.
No, but I think I might be getting containment tomorrow because the judge said if she sees me in there again, I get containment for 2 years.
You
So
don't
I
want
think I'm
that,
going to
do
be
you?
here for a while. No, I just want to go to school.
Well, at least I hope you don't get containment, but what do you think of the school here? The schooling you get here?
I think the schooling here is crazy. It's not up to date. Like, it's like grade 10 is like grade 8, you know? It's not the right
It's too easy.
education
In other
level.
words, they don't
Yeah,
keep you to the proper curriculum.
Yeah, like you should, like if you're in grade 10, then you should have grade 10 work, not grade 8, you know? Like, you know, you should be at the level you're at mentally, you know?
Have you got a lawyer representing you in your hearing?
No, I don't have a lawyer.
Don't have one. Gordon, are they entitled to lawyers?
Yeah, legal aid lawyers, but they don't care. They just, it's their job just, you know, to say, this is my kid, I defend her, but they don't defend you. No, they don't do much for you.
Maybe they think you're a gone goose, you know, they're wasting their time. Do you think so?
No, I had a lawyer, but he didn't, I don't know, he didn't come see me or nothing. I tried to get a hold of him while I was here, but I couldn't.
Okie dokie. All I can say is, hope you don't get containment, I hope you get out and get to school, and I hope you don't break the terms of your probation, because sure as God made little apples, they'll lift you up, nab you, and throw you back in here again. So, I mean, you've got your side of the bargain to keep.
Yeah, well, if they let me out, I'd be good, but I don't know. I keep telling them that.
You're the loser if you break your terms of your probation, aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't go around, like, I'm not looking for trouble, you know, all I want to do is
When
go
you
to
go
school.
out, if you went out now, 16, how would you live? Would you go back to your first appearance?
I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know. I think I'm going to be getting containment because I got nowhere to go.
That's your question. If you went out, where would you go? Supposing you didn't get containment.
If I went out, I don't know where I'm going to go.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
I'm in the containment unit now, but even in the containment unit, they're allowed out to play ping pong, etc., etc., etc. Now, here's a big fella here. You're twice as tall as I am. How tall are you?
6'2".
How old are you?
16.
Why are you in the containment unit?
Oh, I beat up a guy in Unit 1.
You mean you were in the other unit and you got in a fight?
Yeah.
And you beat the guy up, so how many days are you going to be in this containment unit?
90 points.
What does that mean?
Well, you can earn 32 points a day in here. I'm in for 90 points.
So if you have a perfect day, you'll get 32 points.
Yeah.
So 3 perfect days and you go back into general population.
Yep.
Why did you beat him up? What's the point of it?
I don't know, something to do.
Oh, don't tell me it's something to do. How long have you been in here altogether?
2 days.
No, in the JDC, the Y.D.C.
A month and a couple weeks.
Are you on remand or sentence?
Remand.
How many times have you been in before?
About 5 or 6 times.
For what, B&E?
No, car theft and possession of drugs.
Oh, you're a user?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs?
Just pot and
Just
LSD.
pot. Small quantities or big quantities?
Small quantities.
LSD, do you think that does you any good, LSD?
No,
How many times have you taken it?
not that many times.
Better not to, in my view. So you're in now on what? What's the charge this time?
Oh, breach.
Oh, breach of probation.
Yeah, I AWOL'd from Porto.
AWOL'd from?
Porto.
Where's Porto?
Between Squamish and Horseshoe Bay.
Oh, that's the camp.
Yeah.
And so you just took off.
Well, I AWOL'd from there 5 times.
Oh, they catch you in 5 minutes, too, every time, don't they?
No, they took them 3 months to catch me.
Yeah, but now you got to finish your time and you're up for a breach.
Yeah.
How's your schoolwork?
Okay.
How's the family life?
Crummy.
Your family still around?
Yeah, they're split up, divorced.
You the only son?
No, 2 sisters.
How are they doing? Will you take up with your sisters when you get out again?
Yeah.
They're nice girls.
Yeah.
What are you going to be if you ever get out of this?
Probably a group home.
And what are these group homes like?
Crummy.
Are they just crummy, or is it you that doesn't want to have anything to do with them?
Oh, they're not that good.
Yeah. But if you could wave a little wand, what would you rather be doing than standing here talking to old Webster in the jail?
I'd rather be free.
And if you're free, would you be back in trouble again?
No.
You want a trade, or do you want a profession, or what?
Well, I got a job.
What's your job?
I work in loading up trucks.
You're a swamper.
Yeah.
Good worker.
Yeah.
Do they help you in here, or do they hold you back?
No, you just stay here. You don't do nothing.
Don't they do anything to help you?
No. The 5 kids that are in here the longest get to go to school, but that's it.
But you were playing table tennis with one of the staff right now.
Yeah.
Well, they're not all bad, are they?
No. Well, the staff are good. Just the place is crummy.
When do you think you'll get out altogether?
Well, I have to go to a farm, then I have to go to Concord and Dash. Probably next year.
You'll be 17 then.
Yeah. I'll get out just before I turn 17.
Do you regard yourself as emotionally disturbed?
No.
Do you think you know what you're doing on all occasions?
Yeah.
Well, keep out of trouble, will you?
Yeah.
Okay, best luck.
Okay.
Thanks, Neville.
Now, here's a guy who's been what they call red circled. And I'm going to be red circled with him for a minute. Do you keep looking that way and then we can't identify it? Tell me, what does it mean to be red circled?
What do you mean by, does it...
Means you got to stay in this unit all your time here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I gotta stay in this unit for security reasons.
You tend to skip?
Yeah, I have a past record of AWOL quite a bit, and I'm also up on a raise application from the courts.
Oh, you mean to raise you to adult court?
Yeah.
So how old does that make you now? You're over 17?
No, I'm 16 now.
Because of the charge against you, they want to raise you?
Yeah, because of my charges.
When did you first start coming in here? How many years ago?
I believe the first time I was in here was in the end of 77, start of 78.
So that's 77 to 81, 82. You're getting on to 4 years of a life, you might say, to be dramatic, of, if not hardened, I don't mean you're a hardened criminal, but you've been kicking around now for how long? 4 years?
Yeah, about that long.
Look, pretend I'm not a psychologist, I'm just a reporter. Supposing I said to you, what set you off? I mean, you've been in for some fairly serious things, haven't you?
Yeah.
Involving, waving arms about at one occasion. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm just asking an intelligent guy like yourself. What do you think started you off? Have you any idea?
Well...
I mean, you don't want to be like this, do you?
No, I don't want to be like this. I think what started me off was in 1975, my mother died, and my dad and my mom were already in a separation period when she died.
The old broken home bit.
Yeah.
Left you kind of rootless.
Well, yeah, sort of. And my dad got married just after my mother died.
Yeah, you don't need to give me any more of that kind of history, but were you good at school or were you always difficult at school?
I was always a problem child at school.
Discipline-wise?
Yeah, I didn't like school right from the start.
What kind of, I mean, when you were first nailed, 1977, and you're only 16 now, right? You were only 12.
Yeah.
So where did they put you the first time? In here?
Actually, the first time I came in here was for running away from home.
Oh, running away from your own home?
Yeah, I took off from home a couple of times, and...
So when you're not in here nowadays, you finish up in a foster home, do you?
Foster home, or I haven't been a foster home yet.
Group home?
Group homes, stuff like that. Browndale.
Have you got a chip in your shoulder at all that you think, do you expect to get some fancy, like, psychiatric treatment? Does that impress you at all?
No. Myself, I don't like psychiatrists and psychologists and stuff, people like that. I think I could benefit from their help. Mind you, BC does not have any whatsoever stuff at this point. Like, they're building the Maples, and that won't be ready until God knows when.
You're right, only God knows when the Maples is going to be ready.
Yeah.
But do you feel as if you're capable of cooperating, given half a chance to get back on what you call, for the sake of anything else, the straight and narrow?
Yeah.
Can you cope with the kids in these institutions? Can you live with these youngsters without any problem?
Well, it depends on the kid himself. Yeah. Some kids, it takes harder to get along with than others, and it just depends on the person himself.
So if you go to adult court, you'll face a charge in adult court, and then you might finish up in jail somewhere. Do you see? What are you going to do to make sure you don't finish up in the bucket the rest of your life?
Well, as soon as, if I do not get raised to adult court, I'm making plans as it is right now to go to PVI or BCIT for
What trade?
trade, auto mechanics trade. Or
Can you go
welding.
there from here?
Yeah, there has been instances where.
If you build up the right number of credits around here and don't bop anybody or cause any trouble, they let you go to PVI if you've got a term sentence.
Yeah, they like there's people being going out of here like every day to go to work and come back at night.
Good.
And
Best of luck.
okay,
Give
thanks.
me a shout when you get out one day, will you?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, at least I can say hello if nothing else.
Yeah, okay.
Much obliged. Good. Glad to get out of that place. Gordon, the young chap there was telling me that what he'd like to do if all breaks even is to go out to PVI or VVI and take a trades course. Now, can you cope with that in here?
Yes, if he's still sentenced, then we can arrange to have him go out daily to PVI or to BCIT.
Do you do it?
We've done that on 3 occasions so far, yes, and some going out to school as well.
Do you, even I in a shop, you feel the kind of gap they have in their education, and if they go out aimless without skill, they're dead, aren't they?
That's right. Well, we've determined that intellectually all of the residents here are equal to all of the kids in the community, but they tend to be a couple of years behind educationally, so one of the things we'll
And
have to
maybe
do...
some of them are more than that behind emotionally.
That's right.
If I were to ask you off the top of your head how many come from, quote, broken homes, unquote, what would you tell me?
I'd probably guess between 60 and 70%.
Tragic, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe it was something for the old cases of couples that stuck together for the sake of the kids. Eh? At least for the sake of the kids.
That's right, for the sake of the kids anyway.
I'm inclined to believe that too. Okay, well, we're getting there.
Getting there.
For 64 people, it seems to be an awful lot going on. What's going on in here?
Looks like there's a bit of a basketball game going on.
Let's glance at the basketball game.
Go ahead. This is the kids from the dorm side who are all in the gym right now.
What does that mean, the dorm side? They're all
they're all in the level 2 in the token economy, and they live in the dormitory
They
setting.
have all the privileges you can get.
Well, level 3, the trailer, have more privileges, but they're the next highest.
Pretty good. You'll find that sport is one thing that most of them are always keen on. Is that
Always
correct?
interested. That's right. Anytime we can get them out and give them a chance to run and ventilate, pretty healthy process.
Pretty good. If I did that, I'd break my neck. Absolutely break my neck. Thanks, Gordon. But this broken home business, split up marriages always strikes me every time I do a program like this, you know. Single parents, kids, you feel so sorry about the whole collapse of what was a useful structure.
That's right.
When it was, you know. Now, here we go. Ah, Mr. Hogg, this is the kind of creme de la creme, is it?
That's
What's
right.
this?
This is the trailer unit, and this is for the residents who've reached level 3 of our token economy. They tend to be the boys who've been here the longest and the best behaved, and they have more privileges, can earn more allowance than the other ones, and can go on outings with some regularity.
Okay, well, I'm going to have a wander around here, see if I can con them into putting off that competing channel just for a minute. Dare I put off a television set? Yes? 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 Oh, thank goodness. It's an offense not to watch Webster. Aye, but you will be. Now, Keith, what's your first name?
Keith.
How old are you, Keith?
16.
Much time you spent in the Y.D.C?
Since February 11th, 81.
That's nearly a year.
It'll be a year this February.
You don't look like you're going to be tough or horrible or whatnot, but you must have done something unless you were wrongfully convicted.
No, I wasn't wrongfully convicted. I did something.
What did you do?
B&Es.
How many?
20, 30.
Well, it's okay for other people's house, but don't come near my house. I'll get mad as a hatter. 20 or 30 B&Es. How old are you then when you're doing that?
15.
Well, now you had no reason to do it. You were living at home with your parents.
Well, the reason I started was I left home. I took off by myself. And it was really the only way I had to make money. And I was too young to get a decent job, so...
And too stupid to know any better.
Yeah.
And when I say that, too stupid to know any better, do you get offended?
No, because it's true.
You know it was stupid.
No, yeah, I know. I realize that now.
Well, you come in here, you'd been in here before, of course, wasn't your first time?
No. But
your
I
first
never
time?
stayed. My first time was about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and this time you went for broke and got a year in the bucket.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that it's not quite a prison, that's what it is. It's a jail, isn't it?
It's sort of a jail. It's not like you've got different parts of it. They're more like jails. You've got Unit 3, it's like just cells and all that. But then you come out here and you've got like TVs, couches, you know.
You can get a day pass?
Yeah, well, I had a 4-day Christmas pass.
What do you need to be told to make sure you don't come back again? What needs to happen to you so that next time you're on the loose you don't do 20 or 30 B&Es?
You can't be told anything, you know. You gotta realize for yourself. You gotta make your own decision. If you don't want to come back, you're not gonna do it again.
You want to come back?
No.
And just off the record between you and me and the doorpost, what are the staff like here?
They vary. There's some really good staff here, and then there's some I don't get along with.
Yeah, but that may be your personality problem.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a personality problem?
No, I don't think so.
Education?
No, I'm doing good in school right now.
In school here, that is?
Yeah, you go to school here during the day.
Yeah. Gonna go for a trade?
Yeah, I want to get into welding.
Welding. Big money?
Yeah, I know.
At the basketball stand, $60,000 a year. Much better than B&Es.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thanks, gentlemen. Now you can watch your own television junk, and I'll go and get ready for mine. Much obliged. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah, see ya. And stop smoking, all of you people. Like I can't stop smoking.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks again. Much obliged. Bye. Thanks again. Fight a good fight. Let the door go.
Let the door go.
Now, there's a bright kid.
I think he's probably down in the kitchen now.
We're still inside the jail, and now we're heading down to the kitchen to see the chairman of the Residents Advisory Committee, who'll be in until he's 21 in all probability for a very serious offense indeed. You can understand that with them, too. Well, this is our last stop in the Y.D.C.
Yes, this is the kitchen.
And we're going to meet...
Mike is busy working on a salad, looks like here.
Mike is the... What are you in the school?
I'm chairman of the Youth Advisory Committee.
Youth advisor. Are you suitable to give advice to youths?
I hope so.
You hope so now. You came in when you were how old?
I was 16 when I came in.
And you can't get out before you're 21?
I could on an early release. Depends upon the judge.
You're in for what we might call, for the sake of a euphemism, a major delinquency.
Yes, I am.
Now, has this place done you any damage or done you any good?
It's done me quite a bit of good, I think. It's kept me out of the community where I could pick up some skills from the staff. I can get, what would you call, a trade through Pacific Vocational Institute.
As such, you were not a delinquent. You weren't a B&E boy or a drug user or anything like that. Or were you?
Yes, I was.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
So you graduated, you might say?
No, not really.
Something happened that went wrong and you hit till you're 21 anyway?
Yes.
Now, but do you have the kind of pattern of the professional delinquent? You know, that's done me a lot of good? Or do you mean it?
I mean it. It straightens you out a lot. It does if you're here for a long time. Except for, like, if you look back on things, you know, you can see what you've done wrong and stuff like that.
How many years you been in?
I've been here 18 months. 18
months. Now, as you look at the other kids in the establishment, other youngsters, do you think they should all be here, or should some of them not be in a psychiatric hospital instead of a place like this?
I can think of a few that could use psychiatric assessments and stuff like that, but most of the kids, they seem to be okay in here.
What do you think's the answer for young offenders? Strict discipline or make it easy for them?
Well, myself to say,
Come on.
strict discipline, I'd say.
Have you accepted it in here, the strict discipline?
I've had it from my parents and stuff like that, but that's about it. In here, not really.
You've never gone over the wall, have you?
Never will either.
Never will?
No.
Because you want to be up at the time you're 21?
Yeah.
Well, Gordon, just one last word with you, if the light's suitable here. You know, I have not been trying to do a PR thing this afternoon, but I've still got the feeling that while you do the best you can with your industrial arts in your school, that you're lacking something in the way of, what, emotional treatment?
Well, I think certainly with the 10% of our kids who shouldn't be here because of their psychiatric disability, I don't think that we're doing them any favors, and we're probably doing them some damage if...
Where should they be?
Well, they should be in something, if I understand what the Maples is to be, or might be, in some type of psychiatric treatment center, that's the type of place that 10% should be.
Now, even though you're a younger generation, I have a feeling that you're still one of the old school in terms of discipline. Are you, or are you not?
Well, I think that there should be consequences for behaviors, and I think that the kids should be able to know what those are and anticipate
Break the rules, you should suffer.
That's right. Well, there should be a consequence, right? And it's, this consequence shouldn't be something that's simpler or easier. It should be a negative consequence.
My thanks to Gordon Hogg, the Youth Detention Centre. It's not 1,000 people anymore. It's down to 64, or thereabouts. And that's enough. That's all we need.
That's all we need.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. He's sure. And that's our quick tour of the Youth Detention Centre, the jail on Willingdon Avenue. My attention was drawn to this problem because of the continual controversy about where children should be treated when they have problems, especially those who are delinquent. But as I continued my reporting on this, I ran into other problems. There are children who are mentally ill who are not being treated at all at this moment. But for today, I want to concentrate on the Youth Detention Centre. And I'll be back to take your phone calls on the implications of this. Part 2, relating to the Maples, will be had tomorrow morning. But for the moment, phone calls on the Y.D.C, and I have a couple of little bits of extra information to give you after the break. I wouldn't presume to give you a fully informed opinion on the benefit or otherwise of the Y.D.C, the juvenile jail as of this moment. I remember well, though, in the early 1970s, when the number of children who were locked up for various offences was radically reduced by the NDP government. Some of that was bad, some of that was good. The fact is that there are some children who must be contained, and the containment must come for one or two or three reasons. One, that they're a menace to society. Two, that they're a menace to themselves. And three, although while Mr. Hogg wouldn't admit to the word suffer in the form of punishment, he did use the word consequences. Now, I have one helpful little bulletin for you. Perhaps the saddest interview of all those sad children, sad youngsters, was Lisa. The girl who stood in shadow at the window and said that she wanted to go to school. All she wanted to do was go to school. She'd been in there 10 times before, complaining she couldn't go to school. She couldn't go to school. And all she'd done, she said, was breach of probation by going into a bar and drinking whiskey. Drinking, rather, as she corrected me, Spanish coffee, which is coffee and Kahlua. So I learned something every day. I didn't know there was Kahlua in coffee. However, Lisa said on the program that she expected to get containment. She appeared in court the day after the interview, which was just last week. And I'm reliably informed that she did not get containment, that she has not been returned to Y.D.C, that she is with a foster home. That makes her 44th foster home since she was virtually on her own after problems at the age of 6. So that means that she's free, God willing, all be well, to do what she really wants to do now, and she seems to be totally sincere, and that is to go to school. So, you know, not everything goes wrong, although when you look at the figures given to me by Gordon Hogg, I should say Gordon Hogg, he pronounces his name Hogg, that the repeat rate is quite heavy. Hardcore repeaters with 15 to 16 convictions. That means convictions for delinquency. Now, when you say a person is a delinquent, that means anything from shoplifting to B&Es to armed robbery, assault causing bodily harm, and, of course, murder. Mr. Hogg admits quite freely that while it's called a containment centre, it is a jail. It has what you might say minimal facilities in the question of the occupational therapy there. And there is some psychiatric treatment, but the blunt and honest admission given to me by Mr. Hogg was that 10% of them should not be there. Now, if you take even an average of 60, that means there are 6 children locked up in there getting less than adequate treatment who should not be there at all. They should be somewhere else. Day after day, week after week, we see stories in the paper, judge irate over lack of facilities. City refuses to pay treatment for this William Roper Hull Institute in Calgary. Provincial government won't pay treatment. City's ordered by judges to pay the maintenance cost. And as you can see, William Roper Hull in Calgary sure as hell doesn't have a 100% record. There were at least 2 or 3 children whom I spoke to the other day who'd been in William Roper Hull. One guy said quite humorously, yeah, I was there for a year. Was he better? A little bit better. He had 6 charges last year. Now he's back here. He's only had 3 charges. But they're very human youngsters to talk to, although you can't with a television camera. The television's good and it gives you an idea of the attitude of the child, but it doesn't. You can't in 3-4 minute interviews get to the roots of the matter. But it's a jail. Seems to be clean. The food is edible. The staff have an incredibly tough time of it. You saw the guy whose face was blacked out, punches up the other guy. Somebody's got to separate them. And it's part of what I hope is your understanding and my understanding of what we do for juveniles and what we don't do for juveniles. And I'll take phones. Oh, just one other depressing thought. Now, I'll save that depressing thought for tomorrow. The Maple story is a most unhappy failure on the part of the British Columbia government, those of all shades, after the break. Take my word for it, it's purely accidental that I'm doing this particular mini-series just at the time the Olson case came to the crunch. One cannot escape the obvious thought, now can one, that among these children you hear about today, and especially tomorrow, not so much today, are potential Olsons, up to whom we must face. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Jack, I'd just like to say that I was in Willingdon when it was a school for girls when I was 16, a while ago. And it was not the same way as it is now. Like, there was furniture in all the different buildings. Like, there were 3 buildings outside the main building, which had like a holding area for girls that just came in.
It was girls only and much more lavishly furnished, as I recall, in the other buildings.
Yeah, it was.
But there was an isolation area about which there had been great public complaints.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that?
No.
Did you benefit by your stay in Willingdon?
Yes, I did.
Were you in how many times?
I was just in once.
And was it just the fact that you lost your freedom that straightened you up?
No, I was at a rebellious stage, actually, when I went in. I was put in for unmanageability.
So therefore, do you agree that there must be places where some children must be jailed?
Well, just put away so they have time to think about what they're doing. Like, when I was in there, I had a lot of time to think about what I was doing to myself, what direction I could head into, what I could do to straighten myself out.
Anyway, were you sad when you saw that this morning, or did you think it was perfectly proper?
Well, like, it looked a lot different. It looked a lot barer than it did when I was in there.
Probably is. Don't forget now that you don't have the same numbers and you're probably down to many more of the hardcore repeaters. And thank you for your call. From Williams Lake, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Webster.
Good morning.
Congratulations. That was a very, very fine program. It's nice to know that somebody is looking into that situation, and it's nice to know that there's staff that are taking care of it.
You ain't
Mr. Webster, I wonder if I could make a little comparison here. I don't know if you watched W5.
I did.
Yes, I think it's a real shame that there are some people or some youngsters in that institution for possession of smoking pot, and Margaret True admitted right on television that she smoked it in the 24 Sussex.
Let me tell you this very shortly. It's a subject I have always avoided. We have been offered Margaret Trudeau as an interview in her book. We have refused it.
Yes.
I do not think that one needs to demean oneself by interviewing somebody like that on a book like that. And I think that I saw that in W5 last night, and to say that I was appalled is to put it mildly. However, I don't want to get into that caper. Much obliged for your call, sir. Go ahead from Greenwood.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
It's Beth. It's Mrs. I was CSO here in Greenwood for quite a while as a community service officer.
Yes.
Handling children who are later probably sent to Wellington. And we had a boy who was in Wellington many times, and he thought the whole thing was a joke. You know, it was just someplace nice to go where he could just sit back and think and not worry about anything and get out of there and it would be fine. He was not about to keep the law in any case. But what bothers me in small towns in British Columbia is that most people know when there is a boy, one of their neighbor's children, or, you know, they know that these kids are headed for trouble. They know the family is split up. They know that that boy or that girl needs help, but they don't open their homes. They don't make it a place to gather. And they let this kid just go right down to the bottom where he's going to wind up in jail.
I don't know how you can cure that. As you know, there are some children who benefit from containment and minimum treatment, and there are some children for whom it's very difficult for any outsider to have any contact at all.
I think more people that are just sitting back comfortably have to open their homes up and make the chocolate cake and serve the coffee and have the music or whatever.
In the community, in the community.
In the community, right.
I couldn't agree more, and I must go and thank you for your sensitive call after the break. Yeah, do watch part 2 tomorrow, will you please? About the Maples. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I was in Wellington School for Girls myself in '63.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that it did me more harm than good because I was in there for running away from home.
Well, and what bad habits did you pick up there?
Well, there was girls in there for prostitution and different crimes that I never knew. I was from a small town.
How old were you?
14.
Yeah, there probably should be segregation of those who are in for the lesser offences and those for the minor offences. But that man, Gordon Hogg, said a very significant thing this morning. He says, the more you build, the problem with expansion is, and my words, it's like a freeway. Put a freeway, you'll fill it. Put another jail, you'll fill it. It becomes an establishment system. I've got some remarks on that for you tomorrow, though. But were you only in once?
No, I was in and out. I ran away a lot. And then...
Did you get any treatment at that time?
Not really. I got raised to adult court and got sent to Ocala for a year.
Boy, did that cure you?
Well, not really.
Ma'am, sympathy and thanks for your interest. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mr. Webster, I've
Yes.
been listening to your program this morning, and the interviews you've had with the inmates or...
That's correct, inmates. Mm-hmm.
They all, most of them refer to their parental home, their homes. And I think maybe this is a key. We have courses for mechanics, for doctors, for dentists. Do we have any courses for parenting?
Well, there are all kind of weirdo courses for parenting in all kinds of establishments, as you well know, but how effective they'll be, whether they can stop breakups. Mr. Hogg agreed with me, at least I put it to Mr. Hogg today, that one of the great tragedy of the new morality is the broken homes, and maybe couples were wise to stay together to keep their kids out of jail.
Because that is, I think, a big key in a lot of our juvenile problems is the love. It doesn't even have to be a perfect home, but the loving care, even if it's a wrong kind of discipline, but it's a caring discipline, would, I think, prevent a lot of these problems.
I cannot disagree with you, and you'll notice also that I whetted one of my own particular prejudices today. A number of the kids went to alternate schools.
Right.
No discipline, go at your own speed, and being passed from grade to grade for purely social reasons,
Right,
which
and
still
I think
goes
they're
on today.
asking for limitations. And I think in love and care, we can give them limitations before it's too late. And this has to be done in their early years. And I'd love to encourage you in this kind of programming to teach parents to be good parents. Thank you, Mr. Webster.
Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Jack. I used to work as a volunteer worker out at Y.D.C. for a while with the kids. And I think you're right about the fact that a lot of the kids that are in there, well, not a lot, but there is a percentage of them that really shouldn't be in there, okay?
10%, says Gordon Hogg.
10%.
Well, over a year, that might be a hell of a lot more than 6 people.
That's
We
right. It
consider
varies
they're
with
all
the
over.
kids that come and go, eh? But the thing is, the fact remains there is a lot of kids also that do treat it as a joke, and they turn into what they call hardcore repeaters.
Agreed.
Pardon me?
Agreed.
Oh, yeah. Now, what I think, I don't know, did you ever see a program called Scared Straight?
I've heard of Scared Straight, and that works in some people and make other people worse.
That's right.
The necessary assessment and understanding.
Well, it's very important. There's a lot of kids that really, really are in there, and they're crying out for
Anyway,
help, okay?
don't miss tomorrow's program.
Is it going to be good?
It's going to be first class.
Yeah,
We'll
for
not
sure. I'll
cheer
watch
you
it.
up after the break.
Okay.
Part 2 of Children in Trouble will deal with those who are more emotionally disturbed. And my report will be on the incredible situation involving the Maples of Willingdon Avenue and its new secure unit. And I'll give you some of the details of what has gone wrong at the Maples tomorrow. I might even be able to suggest what can be done right in the future, because there are a number of murders waiting to happen. Tomorrow, part 2 of Children in Trouble, the Maples, at 9 a.m. precisely. Portrait of a juvenile jail. Check. Midnight, precisely.